Tonight's episode is brought to you in part by Klub TV and Wilson's Pizza and Grill.
This from my pops, California coastlines, living out my real mind. Now it's really showtime. Now it's how I draw a line. From the fake to real, that's how it feels when you multi. But let's not forget all of the giants I want to stunt down. Scared that their positions can't be taken with a new sound.
All right, I am Coach Mo. I'm here at the Sons of Funk, the Digital Funk. Really
Coach Mo.
Digital Funk, that's my name.
Give it up for Coach Mo.
Well, thank you, I appreciate that. But we're gonna give it up for
Coach
Digital
Mo,
Underground.
you know what Coach Mo sounds like? It sounds like something you say to open, like you open like a cave. You walk into it and say, Coach Mo, and that motherfucker
That's what it
open
sound
up.
like?
You know what I mean?
Yeah, like on Amazon.
You went
Okay,
past,
yeah.
it means open
Well, check this
sesame
out.
somewhere.
We're gonna open sesame to this conversation. We're gonna get to it.
Yeah.
Let's open this cave up.
I love it.
So first of all, I gotta thank you all for sitting down. My guy Chauncey Clyde is putting together this.
Chauncey
Digital Funk.
approved. What up,
Approved.
Chauncey Clyde approved.
My guy.
Correct. Man, my God, we here at the Voodoo right after sound check. Man, appreciate you guys coming. I've loved Digital Underground's music for years, so I gotta talk about the elephant in the room.
Okay.
All right, you sitting in Kansas City with the San Francisco stuff on, man. I don't know. And I'm just saying, you do know you're in Kansas City, right?
I do.
Okay, I just had
This
that.
nigga's different.
Hold on. What's the elephant in the room, though?
That you sitting here and you keep repping this and you just keep talking. The things you said up there just was
Sound like you're nervous.
man.
You know what it sounds like? It sounds like you're nervous.
nervous of what?
I don't know. You keep talking about it. I didn't mention it. You did.
I'm just
sitting here. I'm just living right now.
Oh, okay. Well, let's get past that. Let's get past.
Listen.
You know, because you're from Oakland.
Listen,
But
money-
you're talking about
Oakland.
San Francisco, and I ain't
Let me
get
just tell you straight up. My father worked at Candlestick Park when I was growing up.
Okay.
Every time he worked. He was a waiter.
Okay.
So when they would win, the tips were bigger.
Yeah.
When the tips were bigger, he brought more money to the house.
Yeah.
So I just grew up wanting the 49ers to win.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
And that's
Okay.
it.
Well,
And
that
let
makes
me
sense.
just add on my brother's behalf. See, this is a true legend. See, a lot of people, man,
Yeah.
are conformists by nature, and a lot of people just go with the flow. My brother's a true individual. You gotta understand, this is Oakland's finest right here, and he walked through the streets.
Youngtown business,
Listen,
yeah, you
he
ain't
walked through. Listen, where the camera at? This man walked through the streets of Oakland back
East
when it was
Oakland.
East Oakland, back when it was the murder capital, walking around with that Niners hat on, like, what's happening? This money be in the building. A celebrity. This is a legend
know
right
that.
here.
Yeah, oh yeah, it's an honor to have a legend on here. You know what I'm saying? We appreciate you coming. So now this the other elephant in the room that they've been asking me about. You Young Hump, right?
Yeah.
So this is the question they've been begging me to ask you. So are you Shock G's son?
Shock G's my brother, and that's my soul brother. That's my alike. You know what I mean? A consigliere mentor. You know what I mean? And a spirit guide, spirit animal. It's a lot of things, man. Shock is a mountaintop. He's a Mount Rushmore figure. You know what I mean? And I was blessed through magical, forces in the universe to meet him. You know what I mean? And I was blessed that he's seen something in me. And he's seen the combination factor between me and Money B, because the nigga was a visionary. So he's a visionary. He put us together like, peanut butter and jelly. And, let's
Even when we didn't see it.
yeah, you know what I mean? So that's big bro.
Love it.
Big
so,
bro.
Maybe I gotta ask you a question. When I was kind of researching things, it said that Digital Underground was an American alternative hip hop group. Where does that come in? Because we just look at you as hip hop, but there's some other parts to that. So where does that come?
I think so. Labels are given at the beginning, right? Mm-hmm. So you gotta think about it. When we came out in '89, the most popular hip hop was Jump on Stage. It was coming out of the Run DMC. It was all machismo. Jump on stage, grab your crotch.
Okay.
and you had to wear the biggest chain, and you had to be the toughest guy, right? So when we came in, you know, we let our personality speak, meaning none of us were the toughest guys, right? I'm from Oakland. I come from one of the toughest places, and before that, shout out to North Philadelphia. That's where my family's from, right? So I know it, but I never wanted to be it, right? And we always knew that we were about being and coming out of the Bay Area, which is a diverse area, one of the most, especially back then.
Very funky.
Yeah, and funky, like you said. So basically, Haight-Ashbury, you know, Sly and the Family Stone, the Commodores. What's the
Any involved from?
Involved.
Okay.
Tony.
George,
I'm just saying,
okay.
like when I grew up, it was just about individuality, being yourself. Like, we didn't have to try to fit in. So when in hip hop, when the standard was New York tough, grab your dick, with whatever the clothes that they was wearing.
And yelling loud as fuck.
Yeah, and doing all that, we decided like we could never be the best at that. We just want to do it the way we want to do it. And it started with Shock G. You know, he came from that funk, but I grew up in the Bay, and we were like, bro, we're about partying and having sex with
And
women.
niggas had instruments too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so nothing had to do with being tough or whatever. We just like we want to come bring you great, like you said, being funky, bring you musically the best music that we can give you, but have a good time.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
one-
the same
right.
song had a fucking organ solo on it.
Yeah.
Name a rap song that
A
predates
B3,
that.
it was a B3. Was it B3 or B4?
Yeah, I mean, a solo, and a good solo.
Yeah,
Not no
yeah.
janky, like, I'm
Which-
on, you know.
Yeah.
Which the organ that Shock used, that was mostly it used to be used in the church. That's what it's famous
Shout out to Dan Aykroyd.
for, right? Yeah, Dan Aykroyd, he said that this is what we're going to use.
Yeah.
And I'm just saying that to say is that we
Different.
never wanted to be anything other than what we are, right? So
Yes.
when the label was alternative, what does that mean? That means that we didn't act like niggas,
Right.
basically.
Right.
We didn't act like the rest of them niggas.
Right. You was your
That's
own
real
being-
science. When he said,
Yeah.
don't
No,
let
I
don't let
like
that go
that.
over your head.
Yeah.
Right. Don't
I
let
like
that go over your
because
head.
That was one of the reasons why I was so
Because really,
excited.
that's
to
all it
have
is.
that's really what
like,
he's
like,
saying.
because what you're saying is alternative is supposed to make me feel bad for being different.
Right.
No, we were being ourselves. We just weren't being the animals that you wanted us to be.
Right.
That shit, Money B.
Yeah, I love it. That was one of the reasons why I was so excited, because one of the things that we do is
But I
we
still kill you.
preach. I mean, you're still from the hood, so it's still in you.
Right.
But we preach to a lot of our youth is, you know, be who you are.
Yeah.
You don't have to conform. You don't have to try to fit
You don't
in
have to.
be somewhere else. Just be who you are. Let that shine. And I think you all did one of the greatest things of letting the world see you all and being who you were. So I appreciate that. I appreciate you saying that. Another question, you know, I gotta ask this, you know, because it's legendary. You've been around. You know, can I just ask just a little bit about your interaction and understanding, or not understanding, or beginning meeting Tupac?
All right, so,
Bruh. Big
Yeah.
bruh.
Well, you
Yeah,
see-
I
see
see
it.
him on there. Yeah.
well, here's the thing. The misconception was, obviously, Tupac, he made his debut on Same Song, which was released in 1991. But Tupac was a part of our group in 1988 when I first got with the group.
Okay.
He was around. He was in another group, Strictly Dope, but they were signed to TNT Records, which is our same label. So we were part of the same community.
Okay.
And you know, I knew Tupac when he was 18 years old, right? When I met him. And you know, he came from Marin City projects out there. It was wild. And obviously before that, Baltimore and New York. So he was just a wild guy. So the misconception is that people always say like, oh, he got with you guys and he did Juice and then he started thinking he was Bishop. Well, really, the reason that he got that role was because it reminded us of him. He was a wild guy. By the time any of you guys even knew who Tupac was, he had calmed down. That's how wild he was.
Yeah.
And he was, because he came from nothing and he was willing to do anything to get out of nothing.
Okay.
And so he had it, but he also had a discipline and a work ethic that I've never seen since. Because he knew from the beginning what he wanted. And that's what I respect about him the most, because when I first met him, he said, bro, all I want to do a movie, I want to put a record out, and he said some other shit. And as I seen these things happening, I was like, and he never relaxed. And you couldn't relax around him. He would fire you if you relaxed around something that he wanted to get done, rightfully or wrongfully. But I'll give him that. I'll give him that respect because I saw it. Because he never changed. From the beginning, he knew exactly what he wanted to do, and I saw all of it happening. But he said it from the very beginning, exactly what he wanted to do, and he never stopped working. And he didn't play games. If he wasn't fucking with what he was fucking with, he wasn't fucking with you.
Gotcha.
And that's it. But he had to fuck with us because we were the conduit to which that he was going to get there. So I seen instances where I ain't gonna lie, I'd be like, nigga. But he had to suck it up and fuck with me to get to where he was. You know, he had to do things that he wouldn't normally do. And I always tell people, it's like, if you're not comfortable with being uncomfortable, then you'll never make it in this industry. Because you have to do things, like it's never gonna be on your comfort all the way through. Like, oh yeah, I wanna do it, but it has to be like this. No, my nigga, like, you have to decide that you are comfortable being uncomfortable. Because Pac wasn't comfortable having to do the Packet Man and do all of this shit, because we knew who he was. But in order for him to get there, he had to do those things. And he never complained.
Paid dues.
He just did it. So you have to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. If you can't do that, then you're not going to make it. And he was the ultimate, he's the poster boy of it, because he had a vision from the very beginning. It never changed, but he was willing to conform and do what he needed to do. But at the same time, as he's doing it, you know, he's Pac Man. He's waving the big hands and doing all that shit. And at the same time, he's like, my nigga, I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do that. And we're like, yeah, all right, nigga, we'll do that. Grab them hands and do that.
In the meantime.
And he would do it, but we knew what it was. So, but we were proud when he got to the point that where he was, because we knew that that was his goal all the time. It never changed. It never wavered, and he never played himself out, but he knew in order to do that, he just needed to roll with what we were doing to get there.
Yeah, I love it. So let's talk a little bit about what you guys got going on, because you guys still, bro. I was heartbroken around 2008 when it said, you know, Digital Underground was kind of slowing down on touring. Digital Underground.
What year?
Last album. Wasn't that 2008?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
We
it's
officially
so
broke
saying
up.
you broke it, breaking. I was like,
Yep.
what? After 20-something years, you know, and then said like the last album, you know, was coming. I was like, man, but you are still performing. You and Young Hump. So can you talk about what you guys, you know, how you guys came about and what you're doing now?
I'll let him tell you how he came about.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how that happened, Young Hump?
It was a cold, rainy night. I mean, man, you know, me and the God Money B, we, like I said, we connected. Shock really put us together, and we just immediately clicked. Like, just, you know, it couldn't have been any iller. It was just like, even sense of humor, just every little shit. And we just started busting these stages up, really, because really, you gotta show and prove. Like, we get on the stage and we show and prove. You know, we got an album coming, we got songs, we got a hot video out there with Too Short. I love people to watch. Money Being Young Hump featured Too Short. Come here, it's out there waiting for you.
Okay.
So we just, you know, been rocking and just adding on, and we're really focusing on just clobbering these motherfucking stages, and you know what I mean, just bringing the ism wherever we go. You know what I mean, and doing what we do. You know what I mean.
So I gotta ask, cause you said even when y'all didn't see it, Shock seen it.
Yeah, that's so he had the vision, right?
Uh-huh.
So, like you said, remember there was an announcement that we broke up
Yeah.
in 2008,
Yeah.
and then I think around 2012, 2013, we went on another run, right? But the way that we met, Shock called me. He was like, "Bro, I got the guy," right? He's like, he can, because remember, throughout our whole history, how were we able to make people believe that Shock and Humpty were two different people?
Man, that was.
Because you would see us on MTV with two different people.
Yeah.
Because his brother was Humpty, Kent, shout out to Kent. His brother would play it. We had Wavy who would play it. So he always had a person when we would do different events to play that role so that he could be Shock, or he would be Humpty, or we had a nigga that looked like Shock for photos, right? So finally, Shock felt like, man, I found the guy that actually can play the role, but actually can rhyme. That's dope. And he was like that. So then, even after that, we talked about it, is that, you know, Shock talked about us doing a reunion. And when he wanted to do it, because Shock was a musician, first and foremost. He made the Humpty Dance bass line, right?
Right.
But one thing that, think about it, he never got to play the Humpty Dance bass line on stage because he had to be the Humpty character on stage. He always wanted to be the guy.
He wanted to play.
He wanted to play.
Okay.
That was his vision. But he created this character that became bigger than life, and he had to do it, and he could never really do what he wanted to do. So he was like, I got the guy, right? So his thing was, eventually we're gonna do this big reunion, Pee Wee, DJ Fuse. We're gonna bring everybody back together, and finally, he's detached from the Humpty character. Now I can play the keyboard, but he trusted because this nigga's dope.
Yeah.
He can rhyme.
Yeah.
He can rock it, and he has the charisma and the personality. We never got to do that, but that was the whole thing behind it.
Right.
Is that, you know, Shock, he always was a musician at heart. He really wanted to just, that's where he felt most comfortable, playing the keys. And Humpty Hump is a character just like Batman or 007. Who's your favorite? You don't have to tell me.
Yeah.
But, you
So
know,
I'm jumping, but where did ain't the MC Blowfish or something? Where did that come from?
Yeah.
Blowfish? Well,
Yeah.
that was the first single by Digital Underground. But remember,
It's my nigga.
but
Fuck with you. But hold up, man. Who the fuck was Blowfish? Talk to me.
well,
Fuck
Blowfish was the first character before Humpty.
Okay.
That part.
But
Okay.
that
Man
showed
comes
you-
from the ocean, according to some people's beliefs. Some people believe we were beamed here from the
Yeah.
cosmos. Whatever your African version of the black man, that's your own science. But there's one interpretation that we crawled out the ocean. Whether or not you believe it, if we're going along with that, you could suggest that Blowfly is the predecessor to Humpty Hump. Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry, Blowfish, pardon me. I'm
Blowfish.
wild.
Blowfish or
I'm wild. Let me get out of here. Wait a second.
Wow.
No, but look. No, but that was the first original character.
Okay.
That went crazy, and that was the predecessor. That told you that Shock could see himself being a whole different character.
Different characters.
And that's what
Okay.
he painted for Digital Underground. So when we first came out, if you go back, when we started, he gave us pamphlets. This is the Digital Underground handbook. And in the handbook, it was, anytime we're in public, you have to be seen with dark shades on. And you have to be wearing all black. And the only reason he did that, because he wanted Digital Underground to be interchangeable. So if we wore shades and all black, you could never really tell who any of us were. So if he switched us out,
Yeah.
That nigga was a cold piece of work.
Yeah,
What
yeah,
y'all?
sure
Goddamn,
it was
my
for the
brother.
future.
Okay.
It was like we had to wear, and I still have it, the pamphlet. If you're in public at all times, you have to wear dark shades and you have to have a black leather jacket on. And that was
Okay.
that was the original rule, because he didn't want anybody to stand out, because he, in his mind, Digital Underground was going to be forever. So it could be switch it out.
Man. I appreciate, I know y'all got a show coming up, so I'm not going
Yep.
to keep y'all even longer. I appreciate it. And then we also want to get to, Sons of Funk that's here. So my last question for y'all is, can you tell me something that you would tell our youth or our young that's thinking about a career in music and any parts of music that's thinking about, could you give them some words of wisdom of what it takes to be successful?
I think you have to, and then obviously, I'm gonna let Young Hump answer. But for me, I always tell young people, it's like, what is it that you feel like you have to offer, right? What is it? And then you find that spot. If you believe in it, right? Don't listen to, make your art, make the art that makes you feel happy. So if you make whatever that art is, at the end of the day, if you feel good about it, then don't worry about the people that are detractors. And that can be your parents. They'd be like, don't do that. Go to college, go do whatever. Bro, make your art. If you feel good about your art, then believe in it, because if you believe in it, there's an audience for it. I always say that, I tell people, I was like, if you are a gay vampire, right? There's more gay vampires. Like, you're not the only gay vampire. There's an audience for it. So just believe in it and find your audience. That's it.
I like that.
And then build from there, because that's the only way that it grows. It's like, you have to, one, if you feel like strongly about it, then it's really in you. Be yourself, create your art, be your art, and then let your audience come to you. But all you need is your audience. I'm sure you heard of 1,000 True Fans, right?
Yeah.
That's it. Get 1,000 people to spend $100 on you a year. That's $100,000 a year.
Hello.
That's it.
Okay.
And I would just add to the brilliant shit that he said, you gotta be able to think outside the box in a lot of different ways, from, being willing to try different things and cooperate in situations that you might not normally instinctively want. Somebody might have a vision for you, man, you gonna look good in those pants, I'm telling you. You're like, man, wait a second. But then you put the shit on a lady, like, yo, these kind of dudes like go crazy. So think outside of the box artistically too. You don't want to just be doing what everybody around you's doing, but just try to think about, what can I do that's different? Like, I tell niggas, watch the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame award show, where you see all these iconic groups that made it, and watch. You might not give a shit about Judas Priest like that, because you're not into heavy metal, but their story got bars. You might not be tripping on the Eurythmics, but their story got bars. So just pay attention to other things, other artists, and what inspired them, and what they was thinking, like, how can I be different? You hear the story of what Shock G conceived from fashion. There's so many things to it. You have to think outside the box. And then also too, with your mind, try to think about some things that ain't nobody thinking about. So, learn about some things, look at some things, read some books, watch a movie you wouldn't normally watch, right? Can't just watch the same type of hood movies you watch all the time, or the same action movies. Watch some weirdo European movie that ain't even your type of flavor, took place in the 40s. Just watch it, because you never know.
And you can bring that into the hip-hop culture.
That's what I'm saying. It could be one line in the movie that take you somewhere. So just think outside the box.
man. I love it, man. Appreciate y'all. I'm gonna let y'all go. Thank you so very much, and I know y'all gonna rock the stage tonight, man.
You know it, man.
All right, and I'll be
Before we leave, talking about rock the stage.
We like the Voodoo Lounge.
I gotta bring DJ Always in. Come in here.
Come on, where's DJ? Why he wasn't in? My man, jump in. Why he wasn't in here?
Just stand right here, cause this is our stage.
Okay, this is the stage.
This is us.
Well, you should have been on the couch too.
Oh no, it's cool.
Yeah.
They do their thing.
He was over there attending his pimping.
I had to take care of my guys. Yeah, no.
Appreciate that, man. Appreciate y'all.
Appreciate
We're gonna
you.
see y'all tonight at Rock Sound Check. We're gonna see y'all tonight. The crowd's gonna be here, hype, man, once again. So appreciate y'all, man.
Appreciate
Legends,
you,
it's
bro.
great to have legends on here, Digital Underground.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate
Big up
y'all.
Sons of
This was
Funk in the
nice,
building.
Yeah,
Trinidad.
That was nice, by the way,
We got
bro.
We out
something you
here.
can take back with us.
Bro, that was
You know,
nice.
you
I was
got
like,
honeys
we
is
got
coming
it
through.
actually tastes
They
like
at
I
the crib right
did a
now,
piece of
shaking their
chocolate.
legs.
I
They
was like,
get ready.
damn.
My
I'm trying
man,
to tell you,
That's
we
very
got-
this
nice.
is from
You know
his
what I mean? We
homegrown, my
got,
guy from here.
oh man, there's all
That's
kinds of
nice.
glitter in
I
the
got something
building.
for you to take
You know what I
back.
mean? That's what's
That's
going on.
really
Money
nice.
be talked
Thank
to.
you. Appreciate that.
Hey,
That's
what he
really,
said.
really dope.
All right.